Welcome to The Pivot, stories of people who made a change. My name is Andrew Osenga, and it is so good to be back with you. It's been a few years, and it feels like it is time to start doing this podcast again because, guys, it's a crazy world out there. As we are recording this right now, the government is currently shut down. There is no one manning the airport tower right now at the Nashville airport. AI is currently putting lots of people out of jobs. It's coding our websites and making our music and doing all of our kids' homework. It's just a strange world. And so we are having to ask questions about what we do for a living and what it means to be human. We're having to ask, what does this mean if what I've been working on for the last 30 years, all of a sudden this computer program can do in 12 seconds? What does that say about me? What does that mean about who I am and what my value is? Even if you're not asking these questions right now, you might in a week or a month. I know I am, and it feels like everybody around me is. So I'm excited to talk to all kinds of people about these things. And I'm really excited to talk to my guest today, who is my old friend, Andy Gullahorn. I met Andy when I was a freshman in college. He and his wife, Jill, they were the coolest people at Beaumont University when I was a freshman. He would write songs and play guitar, and she would write songs and play guitar. She had this amazing voice. He was this incredible guitar player. They still are. She still has this amazing voice. He's still this amazing guitar player. They're better. They just keep getting better. But now they have all these years of wisdom and depth that they didn't have then, even though they had some of that then. In fact, one of my last interviews before we ended the podcast a few years ago was with Jill. She had just made the transition into becoming a full-time counselor. So that's what she does 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then plays shows and makes records on nights and weekends, which is so cool. Can you imagine going to a concert and seeing your therapist on stage? That's such a Nashville thing. So I wanted to talk to Andy, not because he's made some big career shift. He hasn't. He's still doing the same thing that he's been doing for, I don't know, as long as I've known him. It's more that he has slowly changed the way that he's done the thing that he's done for so long. And he's taken all of this life that he's lived, even the pain that he's gone through, and even the things that he loves, the fact that he loves to play games. And if you know Andy, the way that those of us in like our church and our community, like my kids have gone to school with Andy and Jill's kids, and we go to church with them. And we know Andy as the guy who writes these brilliant songs that make us cry and make us laugh. And, you know, that people play at funerals and play on a long drive when they're breaking up with their girlfriend or whatever. But Andy is also the person who like organizes the bowling league and the fantasy football league at church. And like he's constantly running 17 of the most random games. And he's just constantly organizing his friends to do silly, ridiculous things. You might think that that's silly and a waste of time. And in one sense it is. But now decades later, we look at this community and see that a lot of the reason that this community is so tight and people love each other is like centered around all these silly things that we've been brought together to do, because we have this guy who's constantly like, hey, come over here and do this stupid thing. And we do, and we laugh and we have fun together and we tell stories, and we need people like that in our lives. And so Andy's bringing all these experiences into his music, and you're going to listen to the episode. I don't need to tell you about it all right now, but I'm so excited for you to get to spend this time with Andy. It is always a gift to me, and I know it's going to be a gift to you. So thank you so much for listening. I'm so glad we're back, and buckle up. You're going to enjoy this time with my friend, Andy Gullahorn. You've got a new album. It's called Winning Streak. You're wearing a tie on the cover of the album. Mm-hmm. Did you borrow that tie?
I think it technically is Tyler's, uh, my youngest son's.
Okay.
I do have some ties that my dad gave me, like when I went to college,
Okay. Because I think
that
it
are
was the
my own.
first time I'd seen you wear one.
Yeah, yeah, that's like my funeral suit. What I wore on the thing. The.
Yeah.
But yeah, technically, I don't think that was my tie. Uh, I don't. Um, the funny thing about the cover for that record is I woke up one morning and I was like, oh, I think I know what the cover for the record is going to be. And I never have that kind of, I don't think that way
Yeah.
normally. And it was just like, oh, I just pictured uh, a slot machine in the middle of like a desert or some vast place. And this guy who looks like he was like coming out of Vegas dressed up in a suit, but a little disheveled, is just kind of like sad, uh, leaning on the slot machine in the middle of the desert that's unplugged. And and so that's kind of what I tried to recreate. I didn't have any budget to go anywhere, so we didn't go to the desert. Uh, but my friend Tyler Kerpane, who took the pictures, we went to the old Starwood Amphitheater that is like
That's at
abandoned.
Starwood.
Yeah, that's the picture on the front is just the stage on the stage at Starwood, looking out at what used to be the yard seating.
No, wait. Did you have to like jump a fence to get in there? Is it just open?
No, you don't have. I mean, like I thought maybe we would have to, but there aren't even like no trespassing signs. I mean, you can't drive up close to it, so it's all blocked off, and you just kind of walk through a fence, and it's just you're walking through overgrown parking lots, and then you just walk your way, and you find what used to be the stage at Starwood. It's just like it's kind of fun to walk. We should do
I
sometime.
would love to go. Yeah. No lie. Kason Cooley and I don't remember why we did this, but when we were probably 20, we snuck into a Spice Girls concert at the Starwood Amphitheater.
Really?
And it
That's the
was,
best way to go to a Spice Girls concert, I think.
it's the only way. And, and it was right after Ginger Spice, I think, had just left.
Uh,
Did it just do a thing?
yeah, I
I
didn't
think it
know we
just
could
did.
do
Wow.
that.
I didn't, I don't
Does
really want that on
that
my
mean it's going to do
podcast.
all?
Oh, great. That's what I want my podcast to be known for. Um, but yeah,
Especially
so
you're like Ginger Spice, and it just gave
yes,
you a big.
but she had just left, right? So there had been the five, and then she was gone. She had left like that, like the week before. And so there were only the four of them dancing around, but they were like video guys walking around on the stage, filming it for the jumbotrons. But all the videos were still the five of them dancing.
Oh,
So they were
okay.
pre-recorded, and nobody
Well,
seemed to care. It was amazing. It was awesome. A
well,
fantastic fact.
if you think about it, one of the things that I loved about taking the pictures there was I saw like James Taylor play there. Some people play at Starwood back in the
I
day,
saw
and
Paul Simon and Bob Dylan there.
yeah, it really is just kind of like it's just out there. Anybody can go, just kind of walk up to it,
Crazy.
and it's a little bit creepy. But I also like like when people on their bios they're like, "Oh, this artist has shared the stage or been on stages with the likes of whatever," and I was just like, "This is such a picture of that." Like, there's pictures of me playing guitar on the stage that Bob Dylan played at, Paul
Hmm.
Simon and James Taylor. Of course, nobody's there and it's been torn down for and abandoned for like 30 years. And that's about like my career. I'm kind of like, yeah, I played the same stage after it was abandoned for 30 years. But that's the kind of stuff people leave off of their bio, that the second half of the sentence. But
Yeah.
I have
Wh-
shared the stage with the Spice Girls.
Which is kind of perfectly on theme with that whole record.
Yeah, I hope so. It's kind of like
I mean, you nailed it.
oh,
It's amazing.
well, thank you.
It's a great record. What
Thank
are
you.
I mean, it's fun for me. I always love when you put records out because you kind of collect songs for a while. Like some I usually get to hear these songs for a few years before you put the record out. So by the time you put them out, I some of the songs are new for me, but some of them I've
And
heard
for
for a while,
years, yeah.
and I always love it. So, uh, what which of these songs are kind of newest for you, and what are some of your favorites on the record?
Yeah, it's easy for the favorites to feel like they're the new ones because
Yeah,
then there are songs like Small Things that I think I wrote in 2018 and I've been playing on the road for 7 years.
songs are so good,
Um,
man.
Thank you. But I think my favorite, like the newest ones, I think is Hopefully Tomorrow might be one of the newer ones, and
Yeah.
that's kind of one of my favorites from the record. Then there's some, there's some older ones, but like ones that I never really played out. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's fun to have a place for those songs to live, and a couple of those are like um, Anger is going to take you places I don't really play out live, but I was glad to have a place to put it on the record. And then the first song on the record, which is called "Does It Sound Familiar," which isn't really like a song that I think stands on its own very well, um, but I've always kind of had a soft spot for it, and I kind of liked. Once again, I don't think like themes for records or anything like that, but I kind of like the bookends of putting that first. It's a horrible first song because it doesn't get people dancing as like people super excited about the record. Um, but I wanted to start off by saying like, man, like, do, does do you feel connected at all with like uh, who you really are, like your true heart? Have
Hmm.
you kind of lost it? Has it been hidden in a frame that doesn't fit? And then that kind of was like tied to the song at the end of the record. So um, I like those songs that haven't had a whole lot of breathing space out in the world, and
Yeah, yeah.
maybe shouldn't. I don't know, but I was like, I'm going to give them a home here because it fit to me.
Hmm. How about Weird People, which is always one of my favorites when you play it live. Where did that song come from? Is there like a specific story that made that song come alive, or was it just a thing that sort of showed up one day?
It was literally I don't I just came up with the line. They say there's more than one way to skin a cat. Who in the world discovered that? Um, And then I was like, oh, that'd be fun to start off a song. Like
It's
when I
such
talk
a
about like
ridiculous opening line.
when I talk to like songwriting groups about like, oh, the importance of like having like an opening line that will grab people. I was like, oh, that's a good opening line. Like, where can I take it? And so then the Weird People thing came after that. So then it was just really just an exercise. And let me think of a few other just. I remember where I was. I was walking the disc golf course at Seven Oaks in here in Nashville, and I was just like, "Oh, what's another weird thing?" Okay, guys wearing no shirts in a cold football game, and I was like, "Oh, Jill being gluten free," and so that's really where it started. But another line is um, having always played music, kind of like that wasn't quite Christian enough for like normal Christian music, but was too Christian for other kinds of music.
Yeah, yeah.
I I would always feel kind of apologetic. Like if people asked me on an airplane what kind of music I played, I wouldn't
Hmm.
lead with songs about spirituality or Christianity, which not all my songs are, but I would kind of shy away from that aspect of it. I think I still do. One, because I think it just turns people off. But uh, two, I'm just kind of the chorus and the crux of the song is just me kind of coming to terms with like, oh yeah, it's some people might think that it's weird, but um, it makes sense to me. So
Hmm.
it's there's actually something in there for me uh, wrestling with that. Um, but yeah, it really just came from that. When you have that line, I'm not saying it's the greatest line in the world, but I was like, I had the line, I was like, oh, I'll build a song around it because I just like the line so much.
Yeah. Well, you've always like you kind of are known for having those left hooks, those sort of sucker punch lines where the song you think the song's going one way and all of a sudden it takes this turn, and it's got a line that kind of catches you out of nowhere. People are laughing, and all of a sudden we're crying. Like, do you when you're writing those kind of songs, do you tend to plan those out in advance, or do you kind of look for them as you're writing? You go, oh, maybe I could get something like that in. Do they just sort of, do you stumble into them? I mean, I figure, is it different every time?
Yeah,
It's
I think
just
it's kind of
you've done it so you do it so well so many times. Like, how does that happen?
that was a very kind way of saying like I do it
Asking
all
for
the
a
time and I
friend.
run it. I just like run it into the ground.
I think
Uh,
the rest of us would like to do it once, Andy. That's the thing.
I think it's a mixture of all of it. I can't say it's all like I don't start off a song thinking like, okay, how am I gonna twist it necessarily?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it is a structure that I've always liked, like
yeah.
a structure of not so much like oh, trying to make somebody cry or whatever, but like it's interesting. You know, you had a one of your questions about something you change your mind about, like that's always been felt like a powerful aspect of songs to me,
Mm,
where you can kind of like take somebody along with you and then get them feeling like, oh yeah, I agree with this, and then show another aspect and be like, oh well, you already signed on with me, you're already on the train with me, and now the train's going somewhere you didn't think it was going to go,
mm,
and for me, I'm like, that's what I want. I like being changed by songs. I like where it can give me a different perspective, uh, and so I've always liked that structure. And so I think even when I hear phrases or something to write a song about, or a line that's like, oh, I like that line, I think I'm drawn to ones that would feel like they might be fertile for having other ways to look at it, even if I don't know what the other way to look at it is yet. So uh I would be drawn to lines or titles that would be like, oh, I could see how you could come at this title from different angles, but I don't try to like figure it all out before. I jump in it and then kind of see where how I could turn it at the end.
hmm.
If that if that song is calling for it, but
Yeah,
I don't know if that
yeah.
makes any sense.
Who are some songwriters that did that for you? Like, where have you seen that modeled?
Um, I a great example I think is John Gorka.
Oh
Um,
yeah, gosh, I heard that name.
he,
Well,
uh, he had a song that I loved in high school called "I Saw a Stranger with Your Hair." Do you know that song?
no, but what a great title.
So the first line is, "I saw a stranger with your hair. I tried to make her give it back." Um, and and so it's things like that where it's like, oh, I saw something with your hair, and then but then he went really literal, and he was like, I tried to make her give it back. I thought I'd send it off to you, maybe Federal Express. I knew you would miss it. And it's kind of like it's weird,
Yeah,
um, but so like folk guys like that,
makes me want
um,
to listen to that song.
and I mean, guys like that and David Wilcox and Pierce Pettis were really influential to me. I can't think of the specific example that we're talking about, but also
Sure.
like just the country music, like growing up listening to 90s country.
Yeah, yeah,
I studied those songs. Like I would just sit there and look at the lyrics and just and think about the song structure. And there's always I'm not thinking of a great example right now, but there are a lot of examples in country music of
yeah.
um well, like for example, The Chair by George Strait. Do you know that song?
I've heard it, but I don't know it. Like,
It's
you
like
know it.
it's one of those songs that doesn't really have a chorus. It's just like a long
Mm-hmm.
story, and it starts off with like, "Excuse me, you got my chair." Oh, that one's not taken. I don't mind if you sit here. I'm glad to share. It's usually packed here on Friday nights. If you don't mind, can I talk you out of a light? So it's like him talking up this woman who took his chair, and then whatever, and then like at the end, it's like. Uh, Oh, and I'd like you too, to tell you the truth, it wasn't my chair after all. So it's kind of like it's all like just ways of
Uh-huh.
shifting things, and country music has a lot of
Yeah.
that.
I stopped
And
loving her today, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh gosh, yeah, well that's a yeah, that's a amazing version. I mean, amazing example.
I actually
Um,
had that question written down in my list of like questions for you is what are the ingredients of a great country song? Because I know even if
hmm.
you don't write straight country songs, but you know great country songs. Like what are the quintessential ingredients of a great country song?
Oh man, to me, there are a lot of ingredients, but one is like uh, getting to a chorus quickly. Like they're like
Oh
technical
yeah,
things
yeah,
about
yeah.
about economy of words.
Okay.
Like um, you're not uh overtelling the story, and you're but then you get to the chorus. Each time you get to the chorus, you're coming from a different angle. Um, like I don't know. To me, that's the country song, or at least by the time you get to the last chorus, you're coming from a different angle. Um,
So the chorus means something different every time.
yeah, or at least it is. By the time you get to the chorus, it might not mean something completely different, but it's not just you're not just repeating the chorus as like the first verse colors the chorus, and the second verse colors the chorus in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and
Like you're coming into the kitchen from a different door.
yeah, yeah, and it doesn't have to be mind blowing, but to me that is just like the efficiency of the song of like, oh yeah, I'm it's kind of honoring the song and the chorus to me. I mean,
Hmm.
I think, um, but let me think other aspects of it. I mean, to me, a perfect one is uh, somebody they would describe it as like the traditional song structure of like a was it like a 12-line song, like 4 lines in a verse, 4 lines in a chorus, 4 lines in a verse, chorus. Maybe it's I can't remember. Hugh
Hmm.
Presswood used to talk about it, but it's just this traditional structure. And what I like about the traditional structure, like the simplicity of it, is that it is the I think it's the best vehicle for people to listen and understand. Like it's the best communication vehicle. So it's not just like, oh, they're just writing a simple song. If you can write something complex in that simple form, you're being really kind to the listener. It's really easy for them to metabolize it. They're not having to do like overtime work, and you're fitting something magical in that really simple form. Um, I know that's not a very specific answer. Um,
No, no. I mean, that's why this is
I
the
already feel like a
genius,
nerd
same
talking
genius of
about it.
like Tom Petty. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. Uh, okay. Uh, Another question for you. You and I, we spend a lot of time together every December when we tour with Andrew Peterson. Um, but then throughout the rest of the year, you travel quite a bit and you play a lot of house shows and you play a lot of like the Texas, like in Texas, you do a lot of like the folk shows. And then which is something different than sort of the rest of our Nashville Christian singer songwriters do. And then you also play a lot of, uh, I don't even know how you would phrase it, but like, uh, counseling intensive kind of retreat style. Uh, it seems like more and more when I'm like, hey, what were you up to? You're like, yeah, I just did this retreat, men's retreat, this counseling retreat. You're doing more and more of those kinds of things. Um, what are those? And like, tell me what that kind of work that you do as a songwriter is, and what has that looked like? And like, how'd you get into that? And, what, how, how, how does your music interface with that kind of work that you're
Yeah.
doing these days?
Yeah. Well, it's a really weird circuit to be on.
Circuit's probably the wrong word, but yeah.
But yeah, I think it starts uh I mean the origin of it would be that there were songs of mine that would be passed around in the therapy world. Just like there are songs
Yeah.
of yours. I know there are songs of yours passed around therapy work because I've passed them around. Um but but they have, where some therapist then is using them or like saying, oh, telling their client to listen to a particular song. And I think the reason why that is happening is because there is some therapy language in the songs because I've needed a lot of therapy. So it kind of all feeds into itself, right?
Sure.
So,
The
um,
same.
and it's also something that's kind of important to me. I mean, I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
So, so then let's say this therapist is writing books or whatever, and then they're doing conferences around those books or these retreats, or they're doing these intensive therapy retreats, and they might use my music as part of it. At some point, some of these people just started reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I was just going to play your song at this thing. Would you come? Uh, would you want to come play it live? Could we book you to come play it live?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then that turned into other, like these, particularly like some of these intensive therapy retreats. It kind of started. There's a guy named Mike Cusick out of Colorado who wrote a great book called Surfing for God. He runs a ministry called Restoring the Soul, and they do these intensives that are just like uh, they're like 4-day intensives for men, just digging in, doing heart work. You're dealing with family of origin trauma. You're dealing with your story basically,
Wow.
right? Whatever it is that whatever the thing that is bringing them into an intensive, like whichever way their life is on fire, addiction or whatever it is, that kind of like is the surface stuff, and you don't really stay there for very long. You start going deep
Hmm.
into your story, and so like that one in particular, the same thing. He was using some of my songs. He said, "Hey, would you just come play some music for the guys at the retreat?" I was like, "Sure." And so I did that the first year, and then or the first time, and then I went back again, and then I'd be like, "Well, I'm here." So I'll sit in these small groups, with led by these therapists, and then before you know it, um, I'm leading small groups, walking through childhood trauma and stuff like that. And then like that particular one, I get there on a Wednesday because the staff gets there on Wednesday, and we do. It's a big staff, like 20 or 30 people,
Wow.
and we just do our own work for a day. Then participants show up on a Thursday, and then Thursday through Sunday is like some of the most exhausting work you could ever imagine doing. It's just like on 100%. But I only play music for like 45 minutes on one night, and it's kind of a surprise.
Really?
So the surprise is, hey, surprise, your small group leader is actually he's not a therapist, he's a songwriter. And they're like, oh, I paid all this money to be counseled by a songwriter. Oh my gosh, what a waste. Um, no, but no, yeah. So the music part, and that one in particular, is a very small part of the weekend now. I mean, it's kind of like
Hmm.
I'm with other guys and with therapists and stuff doing work with these men. I say it's a small part. It's a small part time wise, but like what I love about that one is it is a big turning point. The music is a big turning point. It's a day where people are doing these things called trauma eggs. So it's like you're writing out the story of trauma in your life,
Wow.
and you're doing that for hours. I mean, it's like exhausting. And at the end of the night, it's like, okay, here's this. It's like the music kind of serves as the turn from the hard work of dealing with your trauma into some laughter and to some crying, and kind of integrating all of it and moving into the next stage. And honestly, as a singer songwriter, it feels so honoring to be able to play songs in a room full of people where I really know their story. So it's kind of like
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, this song tonight I'm playing because I'm thinking about this particular part of this person's story. And I've always loved that. I've always loved playing songs for people in the context of their life. I don't really like getting in and leaving without knowing where I am.
Yeah.
Um, so that particular retreat, I think I've done, I don't know, over the last decade, almost 20 of those retreats. And there's another
Hmm.
one that I started doing that I've done, oh, I don't know, that's like 30 something. I mean, like, so it's just turned into it's not most of what I do, but there are at least 5 weekends a year where I'm doing that kind of a thing. And it's one of those things like when I started playing music, I never thought, oh, I would love to be playing men's intensives talking about childhood trauma. That's where I want to go with my music. But the music kind of took me there, and my own life took me there. Um, and it's just like, uh, it's really fulfilling to be able to
Hmm.
share songs in the context of that kind of vulnerability, and just feel really lucky to do it.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's, there are very few songwriters whose songs can work in that room. And that's a testament to your skill and your just the honesty that you bring to those songs.
Well, thank
And
you. I
it's
don't mean this as an insult, but your songs would work in those rooms very easily.
well, I take it as an insult.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Uh, well, huh. So, what is? I mean, it's interesting too because you bring so many personal stories into your songs, and I know when you were younger, you know, you weren't doing that. Like, but now when I hear your records, it's like almost every song is somebody's story. You know, and I know a lot of, I don't know all of them by any stretch, but I recognize a lot of characters when I hear your records. It's people we go to church with, people we've gone bowling with, people, you know, um, just sort of random characters. Um, and you tend to use your songs as ways to sort of honor people. Um, but you all, it's interesting because some people they're, you know, they're people you've met through these intensive. There's people you met in these really sort of heavy places. But a lot of some of these people you've met through sort of the opposite. You met people because you play badminton with them, or you go bowling with them, or you do some of the silliest things. Because uh, in a lot of people know you as this deep songwriter, somebody who's carried their childhood trauma. In Nashville, you were also known as uh, the guy who's always throwing the party. You host, you've created Banderdash, Grinching, Lunch and Bowl. You host badminton. The High Five. Like there are other games. Like how many games do you are you committed to on a weekly basis at this point?
On a weekly basis, um, it's just uh, well, on a weekly basis, it's just playing badminton twice a week.
Okay,
That's
that's it.
that's the baseline.
Okay.
Monday and Wednesday, Monday after the high five, playing badminton, and then Wednesday when I'm in town, because usually then I'm gone the rest of the week. But I'm always up for, you know, I'm all I'm always up
I know.
for wasting time. I mean, you know this very well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. All the games that my family plays, we've learned from you. Um, so I'd love to hear about the high five, but I also now that I've said Grinching, I just feel like I'd love to hear. I'd love. Would you tell us about Grinching?
yeah, sure. Here's the origin of Grinching is that my uh, I had two neighbors who don't live. They're not my neighbors anymore.
I
They
know.
both moved
Yeah.
away. California and Canada. They got as far away from me as possible. But they were two of my best friends, and we would always uh, have bonfires in the backyard. And after Christmas, you know, people would put their trees on the side of the road for the city to pick up. Eventually, we would just be like, "Oh, let's grab one of those trees," and we'd bring it over and burn it. And it was so fun watching Christmas trees burn. It was pretty awesome. And and then I remember one time we were like, "Hey, we should make a concerted effort to go pick up Christmas trees off the side of the road." We just like store a whole bunch of them, like just see if we drove around our neighborhood, how many we could pick up. And and I remember we were talking to, well, you remember Bobby, my other neighbor Rob. I was at Rob's house and we were trying to get Bobby like, let's go pick up some Christmas trees. He's like, man, I'm just too tired. I can't do it. And so we were watching like a Sunday night football game or something like that, and at Rob's house. And then Bobby, I remember he texted us at the end of the game. He's like, hey, I took a nap. I got my second wind. I've got two Christmas trees in my minivan. Do y'all want to go pick up some more? And I was like, yeah. So then I ended up driving around his minivan, and we would just drive through the neighborhood and just shove as many. I think he had a Toyota Sienna, and I think we could get like the seats were folded up, and we could fit like 6 trees if you shoved them really hard into the van.
Oh my
And then we
gosh.
would put like two on the top. And by like 2 in the morning, we were making these runs where we're driving down Woodmont Boulevard with like 2 trees on the top, 6 trees in the back, which meant the person in the back seat was like sitting on the trees. And then like somebody dragging a tree out the window, like down Woodmont Boulevard to our house, and we just made a big pile of it. And it was one is fun burning the trees and saving them for, but like
Because they
the
burn
act,
so great.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. But the act of procuring the trees was so fun because you're kind of hunting. You're driving through the neighborhood, like looking for trees on the side of the road. And we would only do it like after midnight, where you felt like you were a kid doing something like really mischievous. And so we called it Grinching because it felt like you were shoving a Christmas tree up a chimney when you were trying to shove it into the Sienna. And then we would literally play "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" just like on repeat in the car. And so the next year, I was like, I got all the neighbors. We had Grinch shirts, but Bobby wore a Santa suit and he had a Grinch mask, and I had rented a box truck like from U-Haul. So like we would drive through the neighborhood. We started at midnight, and I would see a tree and I would knock on the, you know, on the back, like because Bobby and Rob were sitting in the box part in like lawn chairs, just bouncing around.
In lawn
And
chairs.
I would hit the wall of the box truck, and then you would hear the gate open up, and he'd jump out in his Santa suit and Grinch mask and pick up a tree, throw it in there, and they'd just be laughing just because it's like it was so ridiculous. It was just so much fun. And that year we collected 170 trees. That was the first big year.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and I can tell stories about. I'll stop here in a second, but I will say that night we went. I think we went till almost 4 o'clock. 'Cause I remember at 3:30, right by Lipscomb University, we saw there was like a dead raccoon or possum or something on the middle of the road, and we drove to Kroger to get a get well soon balloon. Which was still open, and we tied it to the leg of the raccoon at like 3:30 in the morning. And then we came home and I parked the U-Haul out front, and then I was going to bed and I heard the doorbell ring, and I went. There was like two police officers, like 4 in the morning, and they're like, "Sir, is this your U-Haul?" And it's like parked right in front of my house on the street. I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Were you driving around with somebody dressed in a Santa suit picking up Christmas trees in the neighborhood?" And I was like, I mean, I said yes, but I was also like, I knew I was guilty because there was like a, just pine needles all the way down my driveway to a huge pile of 150 trees, right? I couldn't really deny it. And I was like, yes, yes, sir. That's what we were doing. And they're like, okay, sorry to bother you. And that was it. He said they had like 14 calls of suspicious behavior. Um, but I
Like
was like, there's nothing
it's
illegal about it.
not
We're actually doing
illegal. Yeah.
we're doing the city a service, I think. I think we're picking it up for them. So, um, yeah, so we've done that for years. And now Grinching, I take my kids or different people will go on runs and just
Yeah, I
pick up
went with you
Christmas
one
trees.
year. It was so fun.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And I think the more ridiculous it is, the more ridiculous the waste of time factor, the ridiculousness, the trying to explain it to somebody factor, how hard it is to explain why you would do something like that. The more that those are up to I mean, like the get well soon balloon thing. It's like, why are we doing that? Well, why not? And then the next morning, I saw on Instagram all these people were pulling on the side of the road taking pictures, with this random raccoon who had a get well soon balloon tied to his leg, and I was like, that just brings me great joy, that to do something ridiculous. I mean, I'm not for doing ridiculous things that would like. I'm not really a risky person. Like I don't want to. I'm pretty risk averse. I don't want to do something crazy or something that would hurt other people. But if there's something ridiculous you can do that is like not harming anybody, and people might look at it and be like, some people are going to look at it and be like, I don't understand that. That's weird. And other people are going to be like, oh, to me, it's like a little art piece in the world. I try to collect that as much as I can.
Well, what's what's yeah, what is beautiful about those kinds of things is you've done this kind of stuff for so long, and you invite people along to this kind of stuff, right? Like you and I were started bowling at this random bowling alley a decade ago because there was like a little deal for like cheap lunch
15 years ago.
15 years ago, and we
Yeah.
did it for 6 or 7 years, longer than that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of ran for a decade until
Yeah,
COVID.
I
Yeah.
tapped out 6 or 7 years in, I think, but it was so fun. I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of guys would show up
Yeah.
to that thing over the years,
Yeah.
and it was just because it's just silly and fun, but like real relationships,
Yeah.
like genuine friendships,
Yeah.
and and some of the songs that you're writing are of these deep people's real stories are coming from these some of these silliest things,
Hmm.
or the high five, which sounds like which could sound like a silly thing in some way, because that was you and Gabe. How long have you guys been doing that? Is it over 10 years now, or 11 years?
11 and a half years every
11
week,
years. And so
walking a
that's
mile and a half.
you guys just is it Wednesday? You guys just walk towards each other and give a
The
high five?
normal thing is Monday. Like normally
Monday.
on a Monday when like the world is right and we're all in town, the normal day is Monday. So we did yesterday, but like Monday, badminton starts at 9 o'clock at Sevier Park Community Center. So we walk at 8:45 with, this isn't how it started, but like, I walk with my bag with badminton rackets and my shoes and stuff in it. I text Gabe and he leaves his house. He lives a mile and a half away, and we walk in. And the middle point is like the exact middle point is the driveway to the Sevier Park Community Center. And so when we're on pace with each other, a number of times we will hit right in the middle of the driveway where we give the high five. But like, yeah, so 8:45 we walk, give a high five, then walk in and play badminton for a few hours, and uh, yeah, it's a day. Um,
It turns into a day, but it didn't turn into a day at first. Like there wasn't badminton on the other end of it when you guys
No,
started
no,
doing it.
it was just like let's do that and then talk for a few minutes, then walk back home. And then there
Yeah,
were some times where we would do a silent high five, which is where we were both busy and we didn't have time. So it was like, hey, we're just going to give a high five and not talk to each other and just walk back home. So you walk 3/4 of a mile, you give the guy a high five, and you don't talk to him and go home. And even that was meaningful. It's just like
yeah,
more meaningful than you would think. It's like, oh, he- I just walked a mile and a half, and in the middle of it, didn't talk to a friend of mine. Um, but the fact that he was showing up, just reminded that I'm not alone. You
yeah.
know,
That reminds me, we need to play euchre again, which we can talk about
can
offline.
I tell them? Can I tell them
I
about?
mean, you could, yeah, sure, but we do need to play again.
Because for sure, because that's something that I
It
am
was so fun.
as excited about as anything else, and I don't know that I've ever talked about it like publicly, but I remember having this in that vein. Um, this another stupid idea, and I kind of ran it by Jill, and she's like, I don't know, that doesn't sound like very fun." And then one day I was talking to you and Good Game after church one day about, oh, I think it was after the anniversary of the high five. So we had like a high five anniversary thing at Lady Bird, and there were a lot of people there, and um, either you or Good Game was saying like, I think Good Game was saying like, "Oh, do you just have like a lot of ideas of stupid things like that that are just like you just do for the sake of doing it?" Because I've always been like attracted to things like like people building big elaborate sandcastles that are going to wash away, in a few hours when the high tide comes back up.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, I did have this one idea, And it was like the idea was to take a simple card game. I mean, like a game that euchre is not simple, I guess, as we soon found out.
As we learned.
But a card game that could be they'd be played with four people that would just take like 10 minutes to play. And the idea was you have four people that you're going to agree to play, and one person's kind of the captain for the week, and they say, okay, we're going to meet at this place, and it has to be a public place, like a table where you can play. It can't be a restaurant where there's like waiter service, but it could be like a library, or it could be just wherever. And so you pick a random place, and then all four guys show up separately and kind of descend upon this table to play one game of euchre, or whatever the card game was going to be, but it was settled on euchre, to play one game of euchre, but you don't talk to each other. So it's like silent. You don't even really look at each other. You just all sit down, play one game silently, and when you're done, everybody gets up and goes home. And there's no talking to each other, which is why Jill hated the idea. She was like, "You're going to get together with friends and you're not going to talk to them." I was like, "Yeah, I think it would be fun in the long term." Um, and I also there's part of it, like even on the high five, I still get a kick out of when Gabe and I are walking towards each other on 10th Avenue. There are cars driving by, or sometimes people are walking in the park or whatever, and they see these guys that are like walking from opposite directions, and they don't even look at each other. And then the last second, we give each other a high five, and then we just keep walking, like we don't talking to each, and then we kind of circle back around. But like, if anybody happens to be driving by and sees that moment, they'd be like, "Wait, what just happened?" It looked like those guys just gave each other a high five, and then they just kept walking. And that's what I wanted for the euchre thing too. Is like if somebody's sitting at Whole Foods and they see these four guys descend upon a table, and they're just playing a card game in silence, and they just all get up and leave at the same time, it would just be weird. They would see it and be like, "What did I just witness? That doesn't seem almost like a flash mob kind of a thing." And luckily, talking to you and Good Game, you guys are like, "Oh, I'm totally in," and Gabe was totally in, and then I think you added. I was like, we would figure out what the teams are ahead of time, and then we talked about having the teams wear some sort of clothing that would identify them as a team, like a uniform of sorts.
Yeah. So
Um,
you got to prearrange your uniform so you can tell who's who.
yeah,
Because
and
euchre's played in pairs.
yeah. And the first time we played was at Whole Foods, and I showed up. I was on the same team with Randall, so we were wearing we basically looked like valet parkers. We were wearing just like white button down shirts and like khaki pants. Nothing nothing big. And that's just kind of what I was thinking. It's like it's going to be some subtle thing, like maybe the same color baseball cap. And then you and Gabe showed up wearing let's see. Uh, like flip flops, swimsuits, sweatshirts, swim goggles, and like ski cap kind of a hat. Uh, sitting sitting outside at Whole Foods, um, which was next level. I was like, oh, this is like performance art at its best. And then the second time, I think you and I were on the same team, and we wore our our Behold the Lamb of God PE shirts.
Yeah.
That might have been our only. Maybe there's a hat too. I don't know. But
Yeah.
we're at Starbucks in Green Hills, and Gabe and Randall are wearing bathrobes and top hats, and they had little grass rabbits.
Starbucks in Green Hills.
Remember the little grass rabbits?
Yeah.
They both had a grass rabbit for some reason. I'm like, dude, I'm just
like
wearing a
chia
t-shirt.
rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wearing the same t-shirt. And they're wearing like literally bathrobes and top hats in Starbucks in Green Hills.
And then took up that whole corner table, didn't talk, played euchre, which Randall cannot figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, you realize that euchre is really hard game to play. It's not as simple as we thought, and it's to play it without speaking is way harder. So we also added I mean, I'm telling you this, you already know this, but like we have a notepad. So if there are questions or something like that, you can write something on a notepad, which Gabe just started talking trash on the notepad. He'll just start writing something and then send it around. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it was magical. We
And
did
that's not
three.
shade on Randall. It's just because the rest of us grew up playing it and Randall
Yeah,
hadn't played it. So we're having to teach him without talking,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
very complicated. Yeah.
yeah. It's
And he's doing a
yeah,
great job. Yeah.
yeah. We did it 3 times. The other one was at Chick-fil-A. Um,
Yeah.
and you and
We need to
Randall
do
were
more.
wearing a bunch of Duran Duran gear,
Yeah.
and we're holding umbrellas.
Umbrellas.
And Gabe and I were wearing our sweatcetos. But yeah, it was like I can't wait to do it again.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Well, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question now. Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go.
that's a lot of talk about a stupid game, which we call Silent Bob Euchre. But like, what do you like about it? Like, how does that make you feel to do that?
That's a good question. It's I get giddy like thinking about it. It's just so fun to have something that's so silly. I think I'm in my 40s and I work all the time and I'm taking care of people all the time. And I rarely just play. And it's just so fun to just play. And it's just like the fact that you're even sometimes if you get together to like, we're going to play badminton or we're going to play basketball, like even still, sometimes you're like, you're trying to win or you're trying, but when you're just being so silly with it that you're not trying to, it's just so
It's the
over the
experience.
top that, it's just so goofy. And, it's like, oh, I'll move my whole day around for this. Yeah. I'll cancel meetings. I'll do whatever. Yeah. This is the number one priority for the day.
And
And, yeah, it's such a gift. It's so fun. I don't know. I don't really know why. I'm worried that if I analyze it, I would lose
right.
it. But
Yeah.
it just is a blast. But yeah, the world is better because we have people who are willing to throw little parties like that. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I enjoy it more than anybody. I'll tell
Well,
you
hey,
that.
on that note, I've got I brought a game for you
Oh yeah. Okay.
because you're always doing that for us. So I thought we should play a game. I'm not sure if you're a Texan who lives in Tennessee or a Tennessean who's from Texas. I don't know what you feel. What would you
Yes.
say? Yes. Okay.
Right.
So what I have here in this handy piece of paper is I've got 15 obscure facts,
Oh
and
gosh.
I'm gonna ask you and I'm gonna tally these, and I want you to guess. Is this a Texas fact or a Tennessee fact?
Okay.
All right.
I don't know I'm gonna do bad because I'm just not very good with facts
This
in
is the best
general.
game I could come up with that I
No,
could
this is
figure out how to
awesome.
play on
I
a
this
podcast.
is fantastic. Okay.
All right. And for those of you listening at home, you can also guess, and then you can compete with Andy. So now you have
Yeah.
some competition.
Right.
All right. So 15. We'll do 15. Hopefully this isn't too long. All right. All right. This state has the largest statue modeled after a real person.
I mean, I don't know what the statue is, but I'm just gonna say Texas.
That would be correct. It is Sam Houston. You've seen that one. It's on the interstate. It's pretty. That one I've seen.
Wait, on the interstate where?
It's right outside of Houston, I would imagine. I know I've seen it, but part of me thinks it might be outside of Dallas, which is
Yeah,
silly.
part of me said, yeah. Okay.
All right. Fact number 2: lassoing to catch a fish in this state is against the law.
Um, I'm gonna say Tennessee.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Okay, just because it's weird. That's a weird
It
law.
is. It is weird. Texas also has some weird laws. I will tell you that.
Yeah, yeah.
The frozen margarita machine was invented in this state in 1971.
No, it should have been in Texas, but I'm surprised if it's Tennessee, but I'm gonna say Texas.
Oh, 3 for 3. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
All right. This state has the most state songs with 9 official state songs and an official bicentennial rap.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm thinking of a lot of Texas songs, but there's also a lot of Tennessee songs. I'm gonna say Texas though.
It's Tennessee.
Oh, it is. Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, what
All
is the
right.
rap? Can you rap for me?
I,
Rap.
I should. Oh, we should have looked it up. We should find out who wrote it, and then we can play Banderdash with them. All right. 2 attorneys from this state were the first to bottle Coca-Cola in 1886.
Tennessee.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a bit of a trick question there.
Yeah.
In this state, it is illegal to milk someone else's cow.
Is this a euphemism? Texas. I'm gonna say Texas.
I don't know. Correct. 5 for 6. It's 5 of 6 for those of you keeping
That's
score
better
at
than I
home.
thought. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
good
you're
with just
you're
doing
you're
5
doing
out of
better than I
15.
thought too. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The architect of this state capital is buried within its walls.
Mm. I'm gonna say Tennessee.
Correct.
Okay.
My
I
guess
spent a
would
lot
have
of
been
time in
Texas.
I spent a lot of time in the Texas state capitol, and I think I would have heard about that.
Oh. The
And maybe I
Texas
would.
state capital
Maybe I
is
didn't.
bigger than the Texas than the
The
U.S. state capital.
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't that wild?
yeah.
Um,
Surprise, surprise.
yeah, right. There is a law in this state that prohibits a person from roller skating and listening to the radio simultaneously.
Mm. Okay, I'm not going off of anything about that law. I'm just going off of comments that you've made, and I'm just gonna say Texas.
It's Tennessee.
Oh, dang it!
Mm-hmm. All right. This one's really going to test you. This state hosts the largest songwriters festival in the world.
And the largest songwriters festival. Let me say Texas.
Tennessee.
What is it?
Tin Pan South.
Okay.
Isn't that surprising?
I mean,
I would have thought it was Kerrville, of which you are a
it's
winner.
weird because like if you're calling Tin Pan South okay a festival, that's like I guess the same thing with Americana Festival. Like it's a festival where like all these different venues and everybody's doing something.
Yeah,
When I
I
think of
get
festival, I think of like one place where people go. But yeah,
I get what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah,
I should have asked for the definition of a festival.
that is true. That's true. All right. It is illegal to indecently expose yourself or swear in front of a corpse in this state.
Oh, I didn't know this about either state, but Texas.
Texas. Keeping us
You got
decent.
you got to stand for something. You know what I mean?
All right. We got 5 left. All right. If more than 8 women live together in a house, it's considered a house of ill repute. Whether this is the case or not, doing so is illegal
Texas.
in this state. That's Tennessee.
That's Texas. What?
It's Tennessee.
Really?
Yep.
I was thinking about like that's a rule. There's some rule about that in for like Texas A&M.
Oh, really?
They have some rule where you could have so many roommates but some of them have to be your siblings, or else it's like a house of ill repute.
Mm, yeah.
Interesting.
It may also be a rule in Texas, but it is a rule in Tennessee.
Well, then I think I should get a point either way, because I think there is a
Well,
rule in Texas.
no.
You know,
It
since
didn't show up on the weird facts list
okay,
of
you're right, you're
Texas.
right, you're probably right.
In my very exhaustive search on the internet. All right. This state has experienced the most number of tornadoes since 1950.
Tennessee.
Texas.
Wow. Okay. It just shows you how sheltered I am in Austin. I don't think about like the Panhandle and all that stuff.
I know, isn't that wild? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Pepper is the oldest soft drink manufacturer in the U.S. and was invented in this state in 1885.
Texas.
That's a gimme.
Yeah. That comes out of water fountains in Texas.
It is illegal in this state to sell a hollow log.
I mean, it sounds like something that Tennessee would be concerned about. It's not. And I'm right. Tennessee, though, is my guess.
You'd be correct. You'd be correct.
Okay.
All right, last question.
Oh, man.
All right. In this state, you are not allowed to shoot any type of game from a moving vehicle unless it's a whale.
Okay, this is a trick question. Here's where I'm leaning. I know for a fact that that it's legal to shoot some animals from a moving vehicle in Texas, other than a whale.
You may have done some.
Other than a whale.
Other than a whale.
Right. And I also don't think there are a whole lot of whales around Tennessee. I mean, I'm gonna say Tennessee.
It's Tennessee.
Okay.
All right. So you got 11. 11 for 15.
Wow. That is way better than I thought I was going to do.
Yeah, you crushed that. You crushed it. Way to go.
I was shooting for like 40%.
I don't know what percent that is because I didn't graduate from college, but but you did, so I'm sure you can just figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, this was wonderful. Thank you for your time. Your new record, Winning Streak, is wonderful. It's awesome. You're traveling around. You've got a bunch of shows this fall, and then we'll be out on the road again this December. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Just andygullahorn.com or there aren't many Gullahorns out there. So if you search Andy Gullahorn on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you'll find me there. And I don't have people, so I'm easy to get in touch with. If you want to find me like in person, then just show up at badminton on Monday and Wednesday at Sevier Park Community Center. That's where I'll be.
Love it. Dude. Well, hey, thank you so much for making time. This has been a total joy. You are the best. And yeah, let's play some Silent Euchre soon.
Thank you. You are a good man. It's good to talk with you.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, Andy. That was so fun. What? Oh.
Sorry, I ended a podcast accidentally too early, and I forgot to ask Andy the most important question for the pivot, which is, Andy, what are some things you've changed your mind about?
I thought about this question and I just wrote down a couple of things.
Okay.
When I was in the shower this morning.
You were writing in the shower?
Well, yeah. Brussels sprouts, gin, affirmative action, desserts, trickle-down economics, public school, tennis, ADD, reparations, reading, Pelotons, sleeping, and success. It's probably good we don't have time to like dive into how my mind has changed about some of those things, but that's just a short list.
That's great. Well, we'll have to do another episode sometime.
Maybe.
Okay, that was my conversation with Andy Gullahorn. Thank you, Andy. It's always such a great time to hang with Andy Gullahorn. And if you would like to hang with Andy Gullahorn and me and his wife Jill and Andrew Peterson, you should come see us because we're all going to be on tour this December for Andrew Peterson's Behold the Lamb of God tour. It's going to be a great time. We're doing 2 shows in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium and other shows, other places. I don't know where. It's on all of our websites. Also, Andy's new record is called Winning Streak. You can find that, streaming, all the streaming places. You can also buy it on vinyl at his website, andygullahorn.com, and you should buy that. If you have a record player, you should buy it, and then you can play the record and just listen to his amazing songs all the time in your house. If you don't have a record player, you could still buy it and hang it up because it's got cool artwork. He's wearing a tie, guys. And you can hang it on your wall, and you have cool artwork on your wall, and you're supporting an artist, and you have art in your house. And that's good for him and you. And if you can't do that, you should listen to his music wherever you can because it's good for your soul. So, also, you could buy my book. It's called How to Remember Forgotten Pathways to an Authentic Faith, and it's out now. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today, listening, watching on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, please, click like, subscribe, all those things that we have to annoyingly ask you about. If you like the show and have any suggestions or questions, please send me an email, and I would love to hear from you and how we can make this as good as it can be for you. We'll be back next week, and we have a bunch more amazing episodes to come, and I'm so thrilled. All right, that's it for us today. Thank you so much. Now, go do something awesome.